What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Uncomfortable Inspiration with your host, Colton Shackelford. This podcast isn't your typical podcast, I'll tell you that. So on this podcast, we like to get down, we like to get dirty, we like to get uncomfortable. We're going to talk about topics that really try to push the limit, get you to think, get you to possibly change your perception in the way that you think, the way the world should be or is. Because I promise you, you don't know shit about what's going on. I don't know shit about what's going on, but I'm down to talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's get down, let's get dirty, let's get uncomfortable. So today's episode is actually going to be a positive message. My messages will be positive. That's not what I'm saying. Uncomfortable doesn't mean necessarily negative. Uncomfortable is positive, usually if it's used in the right way. You can't grow without being uncomfortable. All good things usually come through some level of uncomfortability. So get used to being uncomfortable. That's where the beauty in life is. The beauty in life is the struggle. It's the grind. It's the mundane, the boring, the uncomfortable. That's where the fun stuff happens. That's what makes you feel like you're actually alive. That's where the adrenaline spikes. That's where your heart starts pumping, your blood's flowing. Uncomfortable is life. Life is uncomfortable. It's great. It's beautiful. Just live it. Just love it. Just learn to enjoy it. But today's episode is going to be more positive focused for sure. I really just want to talk about mental health. Since it is May, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I personally, my master's for sports psychology right now. Hopefully going to be finishing that up within the next few months. Obviously, I am a big proponent of mental health awareness, of managing your mental health, of actually taking it seriously. And I know in society, it's starting to be a more positive trend in that direction to actually, being conscious of your mental health, of your mental state, taking care of it. But I feel like the mark is missed just a bit. And oftentimes today, some people aren't going to like this message, and that's okay. But oftentimes today, I feel like mental health it's almost being used as a vehicle to weaken society and weaken individuals rather than build them up. People are constantly complaining about anxiety and depression and all this stuff. And I do believe that there is more anxiety and depression rampant in society now than there ever has been, especially with social media and the outside pressures to always be on point, be 100%, look this good, look that way, do this, and always put it online so other people can see it. I do believe that there is way more stress and anxiety in people's lives now than there ever has been. But the number one response is usually, let's throw some medication at it. You go to a doctor and, they're going to prescribe you some shit that you can take for a little bit, see if you get any better. If not, they're going to throw you on a long-term thing like Zoloft or Prozac, all these SSRIs and antidepressants that completely wreck your neurotransmitter and neurohormone production. That's just the way society is nowadays. It's always, you know what, you do have anxiety, you are depressed, let's throw something at it, let's put a Band-Aid on it, let's let you use that as a crutch, go ahead and play the victim card because you have anxiety, and let's pat you on the back and tell you it's going to be okay. And you know what, I've suffered from anxiety. I suffer from anxiety daily. I've suffered from severe depression. I've suffered from freaking debilitating panic attacks to the point where I didn't even want to go outside. I was scared to do anything for a solid almost year of my life. And I've worked my way out of that because I didn't give myself an option. I didn't look for medications. I didn't look for a doctor. I went to a therapist for 6 weeks, took some time off, went back to another therapist about 4 or 5 months later for another 6-week period. And besides that, I worked through the shit myself. I took the steps, I read the books, I listened to the podcast. I did the necessary stuff to make myself stronger, to build my mental fortitude. That's what I believe mental health awareness should truly be about. It shouldn't be about, you have anxiety, you deserve to stay home today, you deserve to not push yourself as hard. That's not what it's about. Usually, the majority of the time, people's anxiety stems from the fact that they're not doing anything and they know they should be. So while anxiety is okay, it is okay to experience those things. Anxiety is okay. But using it as a reason to not push yourself or be the best version of yourself is not okay. That will never be okay. You should be uncomfortable from time to time. That's, like I said in the beginning, that's the whole point of life. Life is uncomfortable. Get used to it. Learn to love it. The more you can embrace the uncomfortable in life, the more success you will have, the better you will be, the less anxiety you will have, the less depressed you will feel. Just get used to the uncomfortable. That's the way life is. It's okay. It's going to be okay. You're going to have some uncomfortable. You're going to have some comfortable. You're going to have some stuff in between. You're going to have some really good. You're going to have some really bad. All of it's okay. Just learn to enjoy it all. Enjoy every season that you're in, especially whenever you're uncomfortable. Because if you use that right, you can actually grow from it and you can become a better person. And over time, it'll get less and less uncomfortable. But mental health awareness should be focused more on building stronger minded individuals and less on putting a band-aid on the shit by, fucking feeding prescriptions and all these little self-help quotes that people post on their stories, and all that crap. Like, to some extent, it's okay. Again, everything is okay to some extent. I'm not completely anti-medication. I do believe that some people can really benefit from medication, but only for a certain period of time. Prolonged use of medication that completely alters your state where you have to rely on a medication for years, that's never okay. That will never be okay, ever. And so I feel like the mental health field right now is at a tipping point, to the point where, they're starting to do a lot with psychedelic exploration and alternate forms of medication that aren't prescription drugs. And that's really great. That's huge. I think that's fantastic. I'm a huge proponent of all that as well. But I think we need to create a shift in mental health where we understand that it's okay to be a little tough sometimes. It's okay to be a little cold sometimes. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to be a boss. Like, that's the other thing. Society has convinced us that it's not okay to be a boss. It's not okay to be, the most important person in our own lives. It's not okay to think highly of ourselves. Like, you can be humble and still be a monster at the same time. You can be. Actually, like true driven individuals, the ones that really change the game, they're usually the most humble people because they have to be. Because they know it, like that, it can all go away. So the conversation about mental health needs to change. Like, first of all, yes, it's okay to struggle for mental health issues. That's totally fine. Everybody has their own issues that they deal with, and it's becoming more and more prevalent in society. We know that. But the direction of the conversations that we have needs to change. That's just as simple as it gets. The directions need to change. We need to stop babying everybody who says they have anxiety and depression and everything else. We need to push them a little bit harder to suffer through that and try to grow on their own rather than relying on some outside source, some outside medication. Yeah, therapy is great. I'm literally in school to be a licensed therapist. I'm all for it. But you don't need to run to a therapist every single time you struggle with mental issues or mental health. Immediately running to a therapist and putting your problems off on somebody else, whether you're talking through it with them, you're still putting it off on somebody else. Deal with it on your own sometimes. It's okay to struggle through things. If you actually have to reach out for help, that's fine. I definitely do that. If you're at the point where you don't know what's up and what's down and you need help, absolutely reach out for help. Absolutely. Do not brush that under the rug, ever. Mental health awareness is 100%, it's one of the most important things in life. But try to push yourself a little harder sometimes. Learn to enjoy the struggle. Find the beauty in the struggle. It reminds me of the story about the caterpillar to the butterfly, and the caterpillar breaking out of the cocoon. And it's one of the most painful struggles that the caterpillar will ever go through when its body is literally morphing and shaping and falling apart. And then it has to break through this exterior shell. But outside of that becomes this beautiful butterfly. And that's what struggle is all about. That's the beauty of it, that there is true beauty in it. The beauty is in the triumph over the struggle. So you must push through. You must persevere. Try a little harder. Tell yourself that it's okay to have anxiety, but then also tell yourself to suck it up and get back to work, to push through it. The only person that can truly make it change, the only person that can truly have an impact on you is you. At the end of the day, that's it. You can go to all the therapy, you can take all the drugs, but none of it is going to do any good unless you make the mental switch inside your mind to change it. And only you can do that. So do whatever it takes to get yourself to that point. Go to therapy. Use the medications for a little bit if you have to. But always remember that the end goal is to be the best version of yourself and to become a fucking monster, to become a champion, to become a beast, to where you don't have to deal with that stuff anymore. You don't have to rely on a therapist. You don't have to rely on medication. Build the strongest version of yourself to where you don't have to rely on anybody but you. That's what mental health awareness should be about. That is what it should be about. That should be the core principle of mental health awareness. But for some reason that conversation is missed, and it's probably because mental health and everything that goes along with it is starting to become a cash cow, just like big pharma itself. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry with therapy and medications and this and that. And so, you know what? Yeah, they don't want you to become that version of yourself, because then you wouldn't need all that. You'd maybe need it for 6 months, 8 months, a year, however long it is, but you wouldn't rely on it for the rest of your life. So that would defeat their industry. That would kill their industry. And let's remember, that's an industry that I'm going to school for. I'm paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a degree in this industry that I'm also telling you guys is completely screwed up. It is, to its core. There's a good portion of the population that's starting to actually push the right direction, but there are a lot of people that are misconstrued on what the idea of mental health truly is, and they use it as an ability to maximize their profits on the backs of people who actually struggle, the backs of people who are really dealing with negative issues, and they can't find a way out because all the other people, the people that lead the industry, all they want to do is slap a Band-Aid on it and tell you you're okay. Do whatever it takes. Build the strongest version of yourself. Become a beast in your life. Become a champion in your life. Suffer through the uncomfortable and come out better on the other side. That's what your mental health journey should be about. You can write all the affirmations on your mirror. You can do all the journaling practice that you want to do. Whatever it is, I've done all that too. You know, I still do it on a daily basis. I'm not saying that those things are bad, but you can do all that. You can spend as much time on that as you want. But until you decide in here that you're going to make a change, you're going to be a different person, and you're going to think differently, none of it will ever matter. You got to think it, you got to believe it, and then you have to do it. So you be the change in the conversation. Next time somebody's talking about mental health awareness or whatever it is, talk to them about that. Talk to them about pushing to be the best version of themselves. Ask them if they've been uncomfortable lately, or if they're just trying to find ways to numb the pain, to numb life to where they don't have to deal with the uncomfortable. Because a lot of people, most people do that instead. To really get down to it, that's what the vast majority of people stay on these medications for. They know they don't need them. They know they shouldn't be taking them, but it numbs them. It makes life easier. It's not uncomfortable. It's tolerable. So that's why they do it. And the cycle continues. Help break the chain. Help break the cycle. It takes people like you, like me, to speak out about the right things in order to make that positive change. So, got pretty deep on this episode, guys. As always, we're gonna get down, we're gonna get dirty, and we're gonna get uncomfortable. I'm telling you. You know what? Some people aren't gonna like this message, and like I said, that is perfectly fine with me. I don't care. This message isn't for everybody. This message is for people who want to be uncomfortable, who want to change themselves, and want to make a real impact in the world and society, wherever. It doesn't matter. People that want to make a change, people that want to make an impact. That's what this message is going to be for, always will be for. So, appreciate you guys, love you guys. If you got anything from this, you know, go ahead and share with your friends. Tell somebody about it. I'd really appreciate it. I just want to grow. I just want to share this message to more people. So, I appreciate you for tuning in. If you are listening to this, until next time,